Hello, everybody. Welcome to Episodic episode number 3. Hey, Andrea.
Woo, hey, what's up?
Doing good. I was in Jersey over the weekend seeing the
Oh
fam.
my God, do you come from family? I thought you just were spawned out of some hole.
Oh, thank you.
You're so
Thank you.
welcome.
I thought you were going to say, I thought you were spawned out of some,
Like an angel's wings.
an angel's wings or
No.
something. Spawned out of some hole.
Yeah. They grow John F. O'Donnell's in Jersey. They pop them out.
John F. O'Donnell. Me with my middle initial, huh?
I'm trying to be professional.
Right?
Or
No.
J-Fod if you're
No,
nasty.
I'm saying, like, it's interesting I use my middle initial. Sometimes I think about it.
It's so pretentious.
It's so pretentious. Like, how overloved was I by my family
Yeah,
to think I could pull off using a middle initial as my name?
You and Donald J. Trump.
Exactly. Oh, that's awful.
Men of authority.
Yeah. Also, you know, I'm in the mix doing comedy or whatever, but let's just say it's a struggle.
Oh, fuck yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
But to like not attain comedic fame and just still use your middle initial.
Yeah.
It's like if I got really famous as a comedian, John F. O'Donnell, that totally flies.
Yeah.
But like, you know, John F. O'Donnell grinding away, doing day jobs so he can continue to pursue his dream 24 years into it.
Have you been doing comedy for 24 years?
Dude, I started July of 2001.
Whoa.
Pre 9/11. I don't know what that means.
You did comedy pre 9/11?
I did when you could tell a finger blast joke with some integrity
Ugh.
before the NSA was all on your
It was
ass.
such a simpler time, I assume.
What? Isn't that crazy?
Yeah, I mean, that's awesome.
I started very young.
Yeah,
very
yeah.
young.
I think I'm rounding on the 12-year mark, so I'm
You're
getting old.
You're in there.
But what was comedy like after 9/11? What was the following few years? That must have been weird as shit.
Yeah, well, there was a lot of racist shit
Sure.
going on.
Yeah.
For sure. I mean, I was
A lot of Osama bin Laden jokes going on.
Osama bin Laden no more.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, a lot of like a lot of real Islamophobia stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah. But I don't know. I was so new at it, and the first shows I ever did were mics in New York, and that was fun. But then I really started in Michigan, Ann Arbor, when I was in college.
What a strange. Oh, college. Okay,
Yeah.
so this makes more sense.
So
time-wise.
I mean that's the thing. It's like when 9/11 happened, I was really in a central spot because I was in a history of theater class in Ann Arbor, Michigan.
Yeah, totally.
When they told
Right
us
in the heart.
right in the heart of it,
Yeah.
right in the thick of it.
You were doing yes ands. And they're
No.
like the
We were like
center of the world is
reading
being
Tennessee Williams plays or something. I
All
don't
right.
know. Yeah.
Yeah.
And interestingly, like a year before 9/11 is when I started learning about the real sort of history of our country.
Oh yeah.
So I started
the
getting
People's History of the United States.
Yes, I read A People's History of the United States and Noam Chomsky's Manufacturing Consent and found out about Bill Hicks.
Whoa. Bill Hicks was a big one for me too.
Yeah, so all the year before that. So when 9/11 happened, a lot of people went that really like, oh, they hate our freedoms route.
Oh yeah.
But I was very much like, there's a context for why this happened.
Yeah, and there is.
Of course there is,
Yeah.
you know? And so that further kind of got me more politically active and
Yeah.
things like that. Then cut to like, 2002 into 2003, the build up towards the war in Iraq,
Sure, weapons of mass destruction.
the weapons of mass destruction,
Hilarious.
bullshit,
Uh-huh.
all that.
It's almost like we keep doing the same thing over and over again in different ways.
Yeah, it's almost like there's a playbook
Yeah.
or something like
Well,
that.
Something to chew on.
But yeah, so I think the first year of doing stand up, I just wanted to be Bill Hicks,
Me too, dude.
telling them hard truths.
Oh, telling it like it is.
Yeah.
Searching for the meaning.
Yeah.
Wearing the
Taking
cowboy
down the machine.
hat. Yeah. Which
I
I still am about.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure. And then when I found out about Mitch Hedberg, I was like, oh, I want to be Mitch Hedberg.
Yeah. You're always doing impressions in your first year of your favorite comedians.
Yeah. And then hopefully now, 24 years in, I've carved out something, somewhat unique.
You're the real J-Fod.
The real J-Fod,
Yeah.
baby.
I mean, it's interesting that you mentioned like the people's history and all that stuff and like moments of crisis, because I feel like comedy and mental health and all that stuff goes through cycles in accordance to like the times that they're set in. And this segues nicely into COVID, because comedians be tripping during that time, and people, and there was conspiracies and just like so much unknown, and it was deeply triggering for those who have a proclivity for paranoia.
Sure. It was a crazy time.
Yeah.
It affected everybody. People were losing their minds, including myself.
And me too. Yeah. I mean, I was more being absolutely eaten alive by anxiety, whereas you were like going deep into the...
I was scurrying down all of the conspiratorial rabbit holes.
Yes, and I get it. I get in the... I play in that pool sometimes too. And the problem is some of them are true.
Oh, absolutely.
Or there's things that are true about them.
It's true. I mean, a conspiracy is just more than one person working together in order to attain some sort of goal.
Ooh, I like that.
Yeah. And then this is funny. So there's conspiracy theorists, but then... a pushback against that is like, oh, you're not a conspiracy theorist? Oh, so you're a coincidence theorist?
Oh, is that what they call it?
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
And is that a diss on...
Yeah, it's definitely a diss. Yeah.
Well, reality's just a collective hunch, motherfuckers. So suck my dick.
Yeah. And there's conspiracy theorists, and then there's, what is it? Conspiracy... like, I don't know, knowers.
Sure. Well, I think like... I remember. Do you remember Loose Change? The
9/11
documentary.
9/11 documentary.
Yeah, that was my baby's first conspiracy theory,
Wow.
and I was like in my early 20s, if not late teens, and it was.
Yeah.
And as someone with like again with bipolar, it's like rushing thoughts, making connections all the time. Like
Sure.
there's something very good and healthy about trying to seek the truth or being like critical of narratives that are being fed to you, but also it can get you in rabbit holes.
Oh, it can get you in a lot of trouble.
quick.
But yeah, I mean, this is funny. I think this is funny to me. What I still say to this day about 9/11 ago, I'm like, I don't have a smoking gun that it was an inside job, but to me, it's more conspiratorial that it wasn't.
That's good. That's true. That's true. I mean,
with just the history of America and how many false flags we've done over the years, like to get us into Vietnam.
I'm shocked we haven't had one recently for the Middle East. I think they're too lazy or incompetent now to do a false flag.
I have no idea.
Yeah.
Something might be coming. I don't
Sure.
know.
Great.
But anyway, back to the COVID stuff.
Yeah.
COVID was a crazy time. I had my last episode in November of 2020. Knock on wood, maybe it will be my last. I'm hopeful.
Yeah. I think so.
But there was this organization.
The World Health Organization?
No, the World Economic Forum.
Oh my God, yes. What was the name of the guy?
There's this guy named Klaus Schwab.
Oh, Klaus Schwab.
Who looks like, if you guys are not familiar with him, just do a Google image search for Klaus Schwab.
Not great.
He looks like a Bond supervillain. He's this octogenarian, bald, menacing-looking German guy.
80-year-old motherfuckers just really doing their last hurrah.
Yeah, and he's like, he has, of course, sort of, Nazi connections from his youth and stuff like that.
A little South Africa surprise.
Some crazy, crazy stuff.
Yeah.
And he is in charge of the World Economic Forum, which is basically, they are the Davos people. They have this big conference in Davos, Switzerland every year where all of these super elite people, whether it be heads of corporations, political figures, media figures, even like influential people from academia, stuff like that, they all come together, even like people in the entertainment industry, they all come together, and there's theories that they sort of plot and scheme for how they want to just rule the world.
Yeah, cool. Switzerland, famously where some gold was going.
Yeah,
the
exactly.
neutral, which means evil place to me.
Yeah, like Howard Zinn says, you can't be neutral on a moving train or something to that
Ooh,
effect.
I love that. Or as Margaret Atwood says, stupidity and evil if they have the same outcome or something like that. Like they lead to the same outcome. So it's the same thing.
So the World Economic Forum was involved. I can't believe I'm going into this stuff.
This is
okay,
relevant.
Okay,
this
is what tripped me out, you guys. Okay. And the World Economic Forum right before COVID was involved in something called Event 201. They put on Event 201.
Project 2025. Something with a number on the end.
It's bad news.
Bad fucking news.
This was Event 201 was in conjunction with Bill Gates. This is getting crazy.
Let me say, Bill Gates is enemy number one for John F. O'Donnell.
He's not a good guy.
Do not even get me. He's not a good guy.
Trust me. He's not a good guy. I don't even want to talk about it.
Yeah, we can't even start. But
that'll be another episode.
One time we were at a bar and we were doing like fuck, marry, kill, and we'd throw Bill Gates in there every once in a while, and you would just absolutely pop the fuck off.
I'd be like, fuck off. No, I'm just kidding.
No, he's not doing good stuff. And I agree with that.
But anyway, he was like a co-sponsor. The Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation was a co-sponsor of Event 201 in conjunction with the World Economic Forum, and it was like a Johns Hopkins health event. And then also there was like all of these sort of like intelligence agency people were involved in it, and basically it was a pandemic simulation event.
I don't love that.
So they simulated if there was a coronavirus type pandemic.
Even specific to coronavirus?
Yes.
I hate that.
And this was like a few months before the pandemic, right? So you can see where someone with a conspiratorial mind might go like, oh, they planned it, you know?
Someone with a regular mind might go.
Man, what the fuck? Hey. I mean, anybody can look up Event 201. It's a real thing.
Yeah.
You know?
So what if they did the whole simulation? How come the whole thing didn't, if you're planning, how come the whole thing was executed like shit?
Exactly.
You know what I
They
mean?
didn't.
Yeah, what were you guys
well.
doing? Just playing fucking Nazi disease simulation?
Well, they had this whole thing. About controlling the narrative and this thing about controlling social media and stuff like that in the simulation.
Yikes.
Which then, depending on where you fell on the whole pandemic thing, was happening.
Yeah.
So it's it really spun me out.
Of course.
And then I found a particular lane of news commentators and stuff like that were poking a lot of holes in the mainstream narrative. And
who are these people, just for reference?
Journalists who, it was like, let's see, there was somebody named Ryan Christian of The Last American Vagabond was his organization. There was Whitney Webb, who does a lot of interesting journalism and stuff like that.
Whitney Webb's a gangster.
Yeah. And there were doctors who were losing their credentials and stuff like that for trying to push out a different narrative. Yeah. I basically just followed this sort of anti-establishment narrative on it. And it really spun me out.
During the beginnings of like the research and stuff like that, were you like, was there ever a point where you're like, oh, maybe I should disengage with this? Or were you conscious about the fact that it was like kind of hijacking your mind? Or were you just like, no, I'm learning, I'm keeping myself safe, I'm like, I
think at one point I knew that I was spinning out when I was like up all night and listening to like Sunday Bloody Sunday by U2 on repeat.
I mean, who amongst us hasn't been up all night thinking about the injustices of the world and been like, Sunday Bloody Sunday?
Yeah, and it's like, how long must we sing this song?
I was live streaming, throwing knives around and taking shots of apple cider vinegar. So I also was kind of doing my own thing.
Yeah, but also, I don't know.
I think I showed my boobs. Anyways.
Honestly, to this day, like, I'm not dismissive of the work that these people are doing.
No, not at all.
I'm really not.
Yeah.
But I really spun out. I scurried down all these fucked up rabbit holes, and also out of stress, I guess, I started drinking, and then I started getting hypomanic from that, and then that led to me smoking weed, and then it was just off to the races.
Yeah.
I remember one time I was drinking Lafroig, this very strong, smoky single malt scotch.
And we've learned you love a smoky single malt scotch.
I do.
Yeah.
And then remember I wanted a pack of cigarettes, and I was at my mom's house in Jersey at the time, and the only way I didn't have like access to a car, and I was shit faced. The only way.
I don't know that I've seen you. Of course, I've seen you shit faced because I've been shit faced around you. We used to like when we were in our youth, we used to party more together.
Sure.
But like, I don't even know that I'm sure I was so shit faced when I was around you when you're drunk that I can't like picture what you are like shit faced.
Yeah.
What's your vibe? Are you loving? Are you crying?
Well, this is not my. I don't think I was like. This is not my when I'm in my right mind.
Yeah.
Shit faced. If that makes any sense.
Yeah, sure.
I guess I was always pretty fine drunk. I would be kind of silly.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah.
But this was the sort of drunk where I was really physically feeling kind of euphoric.
Sure.
And
awesome.
Just really wanted cigarettes.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
So
and shout out to cigarettes.
Shout out to cigarettes.
Sometimes you got to smoke them if you got them, is all I'm saying.
I just wanted a pack of those light blue or yellow American Spirits.
Yeah.
You know, that was what I used to like.
Mm-hmm.
And I'd already quit smoking years before that, but,
Yeah.
you know, it was, all bets were off when I'm manic and drunk and everything. So the place where my mother lives is sort of right off of a kind of road that's right off of access to a highway. So it's essentially I'm walking through this tall, wet grass alongside a highway to get to the gas station.
Hate this. Hate this.
I'm like, I gotta get these cigarettes. And I walk through it. I'm like getting really wet. And then I get to the gas station. I'm acting pretty wild. I'm talking to everybody there.
And you're fully wet.
Yeah.
Yeah. Soaking.
Get the cigarettes. They also had these like CBD cigarettes. CBD was big during that time.
Oh my god! And that
the CBD craze
doesn't do jack shit.
The CBD craze of 2020.
Oh, it's a lotion.
Yeah, it's everything.
You put it on your pussy. Doubt it.
Doubt it's gonna work.
Doubt it.
Yeah. So, and then this guy was like, "You didn't drive here, did you?" Because I was so drunk, clearly drunk, and I was like, "No, I walked here."
I'm sure that guy was seeing all sorts of people. Like, there are people who are still working in retail places during this time, essential workers, you know, and I'm like, God, they must have seen every type of insane Like, I would go to CVS once in a while and I would like have fistfuls of cash and just be like trying to give it to them because I felt so bad that they were working and they're just like, I can't take that. I'm like, no, I'll just put it like, you know. What a fucking, and shout out to the essential workers and what a fucking nightmare.
That was a fucking nightmare.
Yeah.
And so I'm learning all of this fucked up shit and getting fucked up and it just.
But did you get the cigarettes though?
Oh, I got those cigarettes.
Nice.
Yeah. So it was just a lot of negative factors converging that threw me into a manic episode.
You're getting into the crypto at the time too. That was another signature, which is not, again, there's like some crypto that's valuable to invest in, but I feel like during that time there was like just new shit coins and new, like it was just straight up gambling.
Embarrassingly, I think I got into the crypto after that.
Sorry.
But
you making some money.
Yeah, but then I needed to sell all of it in order to afford to move back to New York. And then some of it went up like crazily. So that was not ideal.
Was your mom noticing stuff? Like, were you having conversations with her about what was going on, or was she kind of just like, oh fuck?
I don't know because I moved back into New York.
Yeah.
You know, I managed to get back into New York.
You always managed to find your way.
Yeah. So instead of staying with my mother and my brother in Jersey and riding out the pandemic, I ended up manically convincing my friend Pat to let me move into his apartment in Queens, which I did.
Shout out to Pat.
Yeah. And he was just trying to be a good friend, you know?
Yeah.
And
yeah, I talked to him on the phone. He's a really nice guy.
Yeah.
We'll get to that, but
He is. So I'm trying to recall all of the timeline, but basically, let me just say, so I basically thought that Klaus Schwab in the World Economic Forum, he was like the head of it. Although very recently, side note real quick, he was forced to leave due to corruption.
So there you go.
There you go. But it was corruption of like using World Economic Forum funds for like fancy hotels and massages.
Klaus.
You know.
What was it at the end of those massages, you old fucking pervert?
Yeah. Well, it was actually him and his wife getting like couples massages.
Okay, but doesn't this guy have money?
I guess, but I guess not enough to not exploit. I don't know. But that's the thing. It's like I thought he was spiritually trying to assassinate me.
Yes, I
Let
remember
alone,
this.
Meanwhile, he's just like taking cash to get massages.
Yeah,
you
yeah.
know?
So bad guy, but
Yeah,
not spiritual
yeah.
assassin.
Yeah, and I still believe the World Economic Forum is an awful organization that is just for elite people to kind of figure out how to help each other out with stuff.
Sure. Yes,
you know?
and there's a lot of evil organizations that are doing very
Sure.
bad shit. You know.
So, yeah. So, I thought that Klaus Schwab and the World Economic Forum were trying to assassinate me because I was going to, expose the reality of how evil they were. But I was working somehow spiritually in conjunction with who?
Sinead O'Connor. Rest in peace.
R.I.P. Sinead. You're a legend. You're a legend. I love you.
Absolute legend. Stood up to the Catholic Church.
Stood up to the
when
Catholic
no one was
Church,
talking
to the
about
sexual
that.
abuse of Irish priests towards children.
Yeah.
Tore up that picture of the Pope on Saturday Night Live.
Absolutely.
Getting her
gangster stuff.
blackballed from the music industry. She says in her biography that it didn't derail her career like people said. She says it re-railed it because she was never supposed to be a pop star. She was supposed to be a protest singer.
Yeah.
Oh, Sinead.
Sinead and the Dixie Chicks
There you
standing up to
go.
the man.
Yeah, they're just the chicks now.
Yeah.
But yeah, so Sinead's awesome, and I thought we were working together. But what did I think we were gonna do? Like, come up with some sort of weird collaborative album, like a comedy music album?
Are you like hearing Sinead O'Connor's voice in your mind? Are you like feeling like there's cues being sent to you? Like, how does
I wasn't
that?
hearing her voice.
Uh-huh.
I just felt some sort of strong spiritual connection with her.
Okay.
That I don't know how to really explain because it was, it was
Delusions.
psychotic.
Yeah, yeah.
And delusional. So
Yeah.
it's hard to really connect all the dots on it.
Yeah.
But I felt this very, very strong connection with her.
Okay. Yeah.
And I basically thought that Klaus Schwab in the World Economic Forum, that he had this ability to just get inside people's heads and take them out.
A direct energy weapon.
Some sort of weird, some sort of weird direct energy weapon of some sort. Crazy.
Yeah. That's, if you are believing that, like, I think a lot of people have this misconception, which makes sense that they don't understand this, is that, like, obviously from the outside, this is not a person who is in reality. But if this person believes that this is their reality wholeheartedly, that's scary. You're going to get assassinated. Like, the fear is real. So, and like that's what you truly think is going on. That's terrifying.
It's absolutely terrifying. That's
Yeah.
why when people say these manias are addictive and they're euphoric, that can be the case sometimes.
Yeah.
But it's not always the case.
No.
They can be really scary and overwhelming. And when people say it's like, oh, these person won't go on their meds because they're just addicted to these manias.
Yeah, no.
That exists sometimes, but it's not a universal situation.
Well, because, and I think you can maybe speak to this more than me, because your manias are more like uprooting. They uproot you more for sure than mine. And I would say I only really hit like hypomania, but it feels like it's gradual in a sense where you don't quite realize it's ramping up, maybe if you're unmedicated or, having like a crisis. So it's like, it's not like bipolar people are like, I'm going to go have fun and have a manic episode. Like, it's like a complex kind of slippery slope thing. And then there's a point of no return. Like, you're like drinking, smoking weed, like the wheels are fucking off at that point.
Yeah, I think there is a window of something maybe right below or even the beginnings of hypomania where I will be sort of cognizant and I can nip it in the bud if I get some proper sleep.
Yeah.
If I get like a medication adjustment or something like that.
Yeah.
But once it goes across the threshold,
Takes a while to know that about yourself, though.
Oh, absolutely.
And I've definitely, I'm still in the process of like knowing when it's starting to slip.
Yeah.
And it takes time, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I thought that I was going to get killed at any moment, but then me and Sinead were working against these evil forces to try to defeat them, to kind of, again, like my manias manifest as misguided, frustrated idealism.
Yeah. Was the Pope involved in it? I feel like there was a Celtic cross involved at some point, which we'll get to. And I remember there was some religious...
The Pope was not involved in this one that I recall.
So maybe
I do remember an episode years before where I thought that there were the 4 horsemen of the apocalypse, and I remember I thought that one was George H.W. Bush, one was Donald Rumsfeld, one was Karl Rove, and one was Pope Benedict.
And again, bad guys.
Yeah, Pope Benedict's original name was Ratzinger, and he was...
No.
Yeah, Ratzinger.
Cool.
Weird. Yeah.
Again, sometimes the outside tells you what's on the inside.
Yeah. And he was a Nazi youth, but in all fairness, who wasn't at that time? You know what I mean? Who wasn't?
Different time, context.
Yeah. But yeah, I thought I was trying to like defeat the World Economic Forum and their evil ways.
Yeah.
And at one point when I was at Pat's apartment by myself, and I was smoking so much weed in there and smoking cigarettes in there and drinking and everything and making it, I had all my black T-shirts with graphics on them, all my graphic T-shirts like strewn about every place.
There was this one point, because I remember when I was in there, you had like a particular placement of everything.
Yeah.
And I remember you're like, that book needs to be like on that angle. And I was just like, oh no. It was like a very, it's like that meme from Always Sunny when Charlie's got like all the pins with the thread. You're like, you go in there and you're like, ah, shit.
What did it look like in there?
It was a den for sure.
Yeah.
It wasn't like, it was messy, but it wasn't like, oh, this is like, there's not like,
it wasn't like dirty.
It wasn't
messy.
like dirty. It was just like, there was stuff everywhere. It was very chaotic. And, you know, I think there was a photo of Sinead on the wall. There was some sort of collage. Fuck, what was it? Rosie?
Didn't I have like a picture? Like I found some like old black and white stills, pictures of like Roseanne Barr.
It was Roseanne Barr, yes. And you were like, you had a picture of Roseanne Barr in the bathroom door. And then I think you'd like collaged it a little bit. And you were like, I'm going to pitch a show. Like there was some sort of plan where like the collage would like signal to them. Like it was some sort of like, when they see this, it's really going to pop off.
And I remember I had my black graphic T-shirts strewn about, but like with purpose.
Yes, there was a method.
And a bunch of books around. I had a number of ashtrays. I went to this thrift shop called Just Things.
Yes.
Famous little thrift shop in LIC in Queens. And I just bought all this weird stuff. I bought all these 45s, little records.
Oh, I don't know if I saw that.
And the plan was to like put them up all on the walls and stuff like that, but I didn't do that.
I remember, from my perspective during this time period, I'm not doing well. No one's doing well, but I am noticing, like, we're in touch, right, during the pandemic. In the beginning, I was definitely, like, really struggling. There's some interpersonal stuff happening, and you were pretty lucid during our phone conversations. And then I remember I saw you were on a podcast that we know each other from mutually. And I remember reading the show notes, and there was like some sort of like, John explains probably the World Economic Forum. And I was like,
this is not good.
And then I remember I was on your Twitter, and I don't know if we've discussed Goofy Grapes yet at this podcast. We simply must discuss Goofy Grapes.
Yes.
Because you very smartly, and people who have bipolar 1 or, you know, any type of bipolar, it's great to have like a support system and kind of like set up the squad in case of emergency squad. So you'd given me your psychiatrist email, and you'd put me on an email with a bunch of other close friends being like, hey, this is the rescue crew. If you see that I'm manic, you can reach out to my psych. You have my permission to try to like get me into a mental health care facility. And so, but like one of the signature John F. O'Donnell moves is to post the grape emojis on Twitter. And why is it again?
Okay, so 1,000 years ago, a long time ago, I had this manic episode, and I thought that I was going to get assassinated yet again, or
You're such an egomaniac.
I know.
Everyone's trying to kill you, John.
I know that I'm even worthy of assassination
I know,
compared
it's
to
such
just
a
being
grandiose.
murdered.
What are you, JFK?
Yeah, I know. I'm JFOD. I'm like JFK, but one letter more. But
Totally, dude.
I thought, totally. I thought that I needed to create an alias. And so the alias I created was Goofy Grapes. And the actual origin of Goofy Grapes was a character that a comedian named Matt Sears, I don't know if you ever knew him, he created this character that he did for a very brief amount of time called Goofy Grapes, that was just dressed up really weird and talked really weird and was wearing goggles. It was like...
By the way, if you've ever pursued comedy in your life, especially like in the earlier, kind of the times that we're talking about, there's always a band of people who are deeply mentally ill, possibly homeless, just the oddballs on the fringe of society. And because they can go to open mics with you, you just like come to socially know these people that you would never normally know. And not that this guy was doing a character, but like there was a dude, I'm sure, like that you just like saw a few times a week. Or I knew plenty of men where I was like,
super weird people.
These are the craziest people.
The art star scene had some real weirdos.
Yeah, there was
some brilliant people as well.
Yeah.
But Matt was a normal guy, but he would do these weird characters.
Yeah.
And I thought the Goofy Grapes character was just so strange and bizarre. I was
he
like,
wearing purple?
No, he had like a little girl's backpack on. He was wearing goggles and like talked really weird. I don't even know how to really describe it.
Yeah. It's indescribable, really.
Yeah. But it really struck me in some way.
Yeah.
So I was like, and I guess even then, like my comedy brain was like, oh, it would be funny if the NSA who's trying to take me out, is looking for Goofy Grapes, and then they find this video of this weird character. That's kind of funny to me.
Yeah, you're like, let's give them something fun to do.
No, or it's just like, it would be like the ultimate fuck you to them. It would be like, they're looking for Goofy Grapes, and they find it, and it's just some character that's just like, dum, 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 dum.
You're like, you fell into my trap.
Yeah, you fell into my trap. You fools. Yeah. So that's Goofy Grapes. And then I thought, okay, during that time, I was sending out, I was tweeting all of this like what I thought was important information and what were important articles to get out before they were going to be like scrubbed from the internet.
Yeah.
So I would be like basically like tweeting those out and then using the grape emojis to sort of seal them in some sort of way to protect them.
Right.
Because I remember at this time, and we're getting into a whole other episode, but I thought that I was creating a new type of corporation called an INTC.LLC. That was like an internationally incorporated corporation, but it wasn't beholden to nation state taxes, but instead it paid money to UNICEF, like the United Nations Children Education Fund.
It is incredible what your mind comes up with.
And so I was like, I had to take over temporary control of the internet. Right. In order to keep the neocons from erasing evidence of their war crimes from YouTube and from Google and all sorts of stuff like that.
And love that.
Yeah.
As an idea.
And also I was while I was doing that, I was legitimizing the idea of this INTCC. I was like manifesting it into reality at the same time.
Yeah. Totally.
So that's somewhat of the origin of Goofy Grapes, but for whatever reason, whenever I've been manic, it's remanifested as me tweeting things out with the grape emojis.
Yeah. So I see a grape emoji on your Twitter. I'm like, fuck.
Yeah.
And so there was that tell, and I was like, all right, we got the grapes. We got the odd kind of podcast appearance. But you were in Jersey, so I wasn't really talking to you. Not out of like any, we weren't chatting. It was just we were both, privately going crazy. But then I went to a like a fireside hang with our friend Jaffer Khan. Shout out to Jaffer.
Sure.
And you two were like really talking about politics. Joff was a political comedian. You guys were on Redacted Tonight together. Like, you know, your friendship, you guys certainly discussed this kind of stuff.
Sure.
And you and Joff were like really in the mud with a lot of this information and talking a long time. And I remember I was talking to Joffer, and he was like, "Yeah, talking about this, and I was like, "Is he smoking weed?" And he's like, "Yeah." And I don't think Joffer had known, like these were like earmarks for Mania. And then I was like, "Is he drinking?" And he was like, "Yeah." And I'm like, "Fuck." And I was like, "I think he's having a manic episode." And I remember Joffer being like, "Damn, we were like really connecting." And then like John's just like fully psychotic. But
what does that say about Joffer?
Yeah.
No, but I mean, it's not like when I'm manic, I'm just like.
No, you're not. Which is what's tricky about it.
Yeah,
is that there's some seeming lucid moments or
insightful moments, even
for sure. Yes, from the great John F. O'Donnell.
Yeah. But that is really funny. The Joffer's like, "Oh damn, I just thought we were vibing."
I know, and I'm like, you were, but okay. So I'm like growing intel, and then I gather the troops, which is, again, a great group of people. But also, like, are we the most capable? Are we social workers?
Yeah.
No.
Are we
doctors?
mental health professionals?
Absolutely not. Are half of us alcoholics and half of us also dealing with psychosis? Sure. But this is our team. It's me, Max Bruno, Alessandro, excuse me, who is your non-comedian friend, very cool guy, illustrator. Very zen dude.
To the point where he fell asleep. We'll get into that.
Insane.
He fell asleep during the rescue mission.
Wow.
But go ahead.
To be so peaceful.
Yeah.
And I tried to recruit our friend Eric, and he kind of we orchestrated like a hangout at Cobra Club as our first kind of like let's meet up and kind of see what's up. And so Eric was there for that, which is okay. Also funny. Eric was so in a weird place that after you'd like left, he was like, "I think he's fine." And I was like, "Excuse me?" And I was like, "All right, you're out."
Yeah.
Because you're not a soldier who's going to be able to help. But we orchestrated a hang so we could get like a temperature of what was going on. And you came in with a bunch of documents, and I went, "Fuck."
Did I actually have documents?
You had a folder.
I had a folder. I did have a folder.
You had a fucking folder
with papers in it.
Yep. And I was like, "God damn it!" You were talking about the IRA, the Irish Republican Army, another very signature manic.
I was talking about the IRA.
Yes, you were. You were. It was like a bingo card of warning signs.
And I'm in there, I'm drinking.
You're drinking. You were getting in my face about my own sobriety.
Andrea comes up to me, she goes, "You're drinking, huh?"
Yeah.
And then I go, "Yeah, Andrea, we talked about this already, but I don't have that particular gene
you bitch.
that you have.
You stupid bitch.
Where I can do that and you can't."
You were being standoffish, which is part of it too, but because I think, and you can speak to this, but I feel like, again, you truly believe that you're being, hunted or whatever. You feel fearful, and then there's this
fearful. Go ahead, yeah.
But then this group of people is trying to, convince you otherwise, and I'm sure that feels like threatening in some way, or just that we don't understand what's going on, and we're getting in the way of an important thing that you have to do. So I imagine you're not perceiving us as enemies, but not as maybe
I just
helpful.
I just figure that you guys don't understand what's going on, and you're trying to, take away my freedom, my autonomy, my ability to
dim my sparkle,
pursue my mission
right.
that I'm on.
Yeah.
You guys just don't get the stakes that are here.
I mean,
we're either going to create a heaven on earth scenario, or hell on earth is going to take over.
That's pretty
and
high
it's up to me.
Yeah.
And you guys want me to stop drinking?
The booze helps me.
Yes, I mean, at the very least, I deserve a drink at the end of the day.
I'm saving the world.
Hello.
Bitch.
Yeah, let me smoke a J.
Yeah, guy. I mean, listen, maybe there will be one day where you have to save the world. Let's hope not. But,
let's hope not.
But so then after that, I'm like, all right, I fire off an email to your psychologist, and I'm like, this is what's going on. And she's like, all right, let's talk. Phone call with her. poor woman. Like the mental health care people of this time.
She's probably like, everybody is spinning out.
100%. She's like, I don't know. She was very concerned for you. She, had a great deal of love and respect for you, so she wanted to help, but she was also like, I don't know, man. And I was like, great.
Oh my God.
So she's kind of like, whatever you can do.
You never told me about this conversation. That's wild.
Yeah. And so, but basically she's like, all right, like we hatched a plan where she's like, you got to get him, somewhere and get him in a situation where maybe I can talk to him and like try to, convince him to like take meds or just like, see if we can open up a conversation. So I'm like, okay. And you were staying at that place in Long Island City, and I think that you had invited Max over maybe, or Eric or someone to like come hang out at your place. So we are ready to set our trap. We go to a diner beforehand.
You guys are planning?
Yeah, we're planning. We're scheming.
Oh my God.
And we're like, all right. Because it's like if you've ever helped a friend through a psychotic episode or anything, there's no real plan.
There's no roadmap of like A, B, C, D, E, F. Do all of these steps.
No.
He'll be in a mental health professional. He'll be in a mental health setting. He'll get hospitalized. It doesn't work like that.
Yeah, you just got to be like, let's go in. We're gonna go in, and you have to be dishonest. You have to kind of be like, go in and be like, whoa, what am I doing in your apartment? Check out that booze, Sinead O'Connor. Like you have to not pose a threat. You have to, have like a goal in mind. The goal is to have you talk to the doctor, but we'd all kind of been in manic episodes with you before, so we're kind of just like, let's just see. We know we're going into. Let's see what happens. And yeah, like to your point about like getting someone into a facility, there's legal roadblocks to that, which it's hard because it's like, I see why they're in place. Like if we give people the ability to throw other people in a mental institution, history of it is not great.
Absolutely. Yeah. Sadly, it seems like there's no good answer. It sucks.
I know.
It's like sometimes unfortunately the best place for these people to be, for someone to be that is really acutely manic, is to be hospitalized, but there's no immediate road to do that. But the flip side is if it's too easy to institutionalize people, that's a problem as well, obviously.
I know.
So it kind of sucks.
It's nuanced, but like the rule, I guess, is if they become a danger to themselves or others. And it's also like, how do you quantify that?
Yeah.
You don't want to get the cops involved. That's very dangerous. The cops are not historically great with mental health crises.
There is now like the number. There's a 988 instead of 911.
Oh, really?
Which is supposed to create more of like a mental health oriented response.
That's good.
When someone's in crisis.
Fingers crossed.
And that's supposed to be helpful. And then I've read about 988. A lot of people say it's been really positive for them, but others have said that it's really negative. So it's hard, but it's something.
It's tough. I mean, I'm glad there's like attempts to move forward. These are all like systemic problems. It's so fucking complicated. But our goal was just like, let's try to get him on the phone with the doctor, because we're like, maybe he'll respect the doctor on some level. We didn't really know, but we showed up at your den and you were like on headphones of some sort with your laptop trying to connect, get stronger Wi-Fi to do a podcast. And I was like, let's skip this.
Let's not let this podcast go live.
I know. And
thank God.
You were like, hold on. And I was like, look over there. Just like hiding your laptop, being like, I think I talked to the person because you were having trouble with tech stuff, and I think I talked to the person who was hosting the podcast. I was like, hey, like, I think maybe not, and that person was like, oh, okay. And I was like, he'll reschedule. And then so we nipped that in the bud.
So I was about to do a podcast.
You were about to do a podcast. Yeah.
I think I did a couple podcast appearances.
I'm sure. Yeah.
That might still be on the internet. Oh my God. Whatever.
Yeah, but
I'm not running for office.
No.
That ship has sailed. But anyway, go ahead.
Well, but so this comes. So I'm interested to know what you thought, because when we came in, we were all like, we're in the neighborhood, and you like seemed pretty okay with that idea. You didn't seem that suspicious of us, but like, what do you remember of us like coming into your space and like your thoughts on what we were doing there? Did you have suspicions?
I obviously remember you all coming in. I think I have a weird thing a lot of times, and especially when manic, where I want to be around people. But when I'm manic, I alienate myself from so many folks that it's nobody wants to be around me. So I think I was just like, oh, cool, some people are around.
Yeah. You brought out also a wonderful platter of food. You like bought, I'd known that you'd gone to that antique store and bought a
Yeah.
bunch of weird bullshit. And you also had seemingly gone to like a health food store in the area.
Yeah.
So you just like laid out like grapes and like various
Oh, yeah.
cheeses from Vermont. And I was like, great spread.
Yeah.
But it was like it's so bizarre on the side of the person who it has all the cards in mind. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? I've got the full deck. I know what you're going on. I know that like the doctor is in the wing. I know all these things. And I just have to be like, woo. And I'm like, this would be a fun hang.
Yeah, that's bizarre. I remember Joffrey was over some days before you guys
Yeah.
came over.
Yeah.
And I remember I cooked us a really nice meal.
Beautiful.
And we were having a good time.
Yeah, yeah.
And we were smoking these like CBD like pre-rolls.
Oh, yeah, you had those. Yeah, I remember
then
that
they were
now.
like covered in like floral stuff.
A gorgeous host.
They were gorgeous. And they were from like this well-sourced sort of thing from this it was called Rose Apothecary out of Denver, and I had them mailed to me in like a
Wow.
wooden box.
That's gorgeous.
Yeah.
Where are you getting the money for all this
I have
stuff?
no idea.
Yeah.
Maybe it was just whatever remaining money I had left
Is that
to me.
what were they called? Stimulus checks?
I can't remember. Maybe it was stimulus checks. Maybe it was money left from Redacted. I don't know.
Hilarious.
I don't know.
You're a wonderful host, but
Yeah.
it was like a Mad Hatter kind of energy
Yeah.
to the place. So I remember I started to poke around being like, where are your meds, by the way? And I don't think maybe you had them, but you weren't taking them.
I think I can't imagine I was taking them properly. I do remember this. I remember I had a Woody Guthrie book.
Yes. This Machine Kills Fascists.
Yes. That wasn't the name of the book. That's what was on his guitar.
But yeah.
That is the dude. Yes.
Cool. If you ever want to look up a cool anti-fascist icon, Woody Guthrie.
Yeah, legendary musician and person for the working class and anti-fascist guy.
Died
Amazing.
in New York.
Yeah, he
Yeah.
did. And he very influential on Bob Dylan and
Yeah.
tons of musicians.
Yeah.
But I remember I had a copy of a biography about Woody Guthrie, and I took my little pink lithium pills, and there was a picture of him on the cover, and I just put them like on his face.
Yes. Okay. I think I remember there was like a placement of something that was very important.
And in my mind, then I put some sort of like little magnifying glass over
Yes.
some sort of weird, almost like I was trying to do some like alchemy or something.
Yes.
And I remember being like, oh, this Woody Guthrie didn't have access to proper
Because he had an illness, right? He had some sort of like
a different illness, though.
degenerative-
He had
like
Huntington's disease.
Yeah, brutal.
And but somehow I thought my lithium pills were gonna like spiritually help him beyond the grave
Oh my
or
God.
something.
Yes, and I was trying to I was simply inquiring about this, and you were like, you wouldn't get it.
Oh,
Like you were
God.
such a little cunt
Well,
about it.
would you have gotten it?
Of course not.
Well, there you go.
Because there's nothing to get, John.
I know, it's real weird.
But
it was real weird.
I remember that explanation and being like, all right. So
Yeah.
I'm like, we're all kind of just like in a research phase of like how bad this is / where we're at.
When you went in there, was like, oh, this is real weird.
Yeah, immediately. There's
yeah.
also like a energy.
Yeah.
There's like a tension that keeps building because again, you are trying to get another person to go to a psych ward and they do not want to do that. So
Yeah.
there's this sort of manipulative dance from both ends that just like builds and builds. And there were a few fun moments. One was, I don't know how you decided to go to the bathroom, but you were in the bathroom, but you were like first in the tub and then you were like jumping around and like I was concerned about like neighbors being upset about it. So we're trying to like keep it as quiet as possible. I think you're playing music. I don't know how it happened, but at some point you were just like bouncing around the bathroom, playing music, just being fully nuts. And I'm like, fuck. So me being a lot taller than you,
Yeah.
I'm like holding you in midair. You're suspended in midair and lighting a cigarette.
Yeah.
Wow.
And we're both smiling.
Yeah, it's
because it's hilarious.
It's a very funny photo. Max took a photo of us. We're both smiling, laughing. You have a cigarette like hanging out of the side of your mouth.
Trying
that you're
to light
lighting.
it, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
And I don't know that you can see that I am holding, like, it looks like I'm like hugging you.
Yeah.
But you are suspended in midair.
It's
and
so
it's
funny.
just so funny. Like,
You made a T-shirt out of it.
Yes, I did.
You monster.
I am a monster. But
So funny.
I remember being like, okay, so like his emotions are erratic. Trying to de-escalate that, and then eventually you got into the tub, and we were listening to like Nina Simone and like I was trying to like play like more calming music, and that got you to a calmer place for sure. And then I think after that was introduced the idea of talking to your psychiatrist or psychologist, whatever. Psychiatrist, yeah. And you were not psyched on that at all. You were very resistant to that. And I don't really know. I think I just kept pressing the issue, and Alessandro and Max were just being like, hey, what's the harm? You know?
Yeah.
And I feel like I'm like in your mind when this happens because I know all your little moves.
Yeah.
And I'm like, he's going to talk because we're like not letting this go. He's going to talk to her to like appease us, you know? But I'm like, if we can get him to talk to her, like at least that's a start. So we get on the phone and she's on speakerphone and she's like, how you doing? And there was like a discussion of you going to get your blood levels taken to see like how much lithium was like in your blood.
Yeah.
And you were like telling her that you would do that. And I'm like, there is no fucking way. Like we both are like, okay.
Yeah.
You're like, I'll go tomorrow. And I'm like, fat chance.
Yeah.
And then at a certain point, I think she convinced you to take Klonopin.
Well, I remember this a little bit.
Yeah.
So she knew that it would take too long for like lithium to get me out of being manic.
Yeah.
So she wanted me to be on Respiridol.
Oh, okay.
So she was like, I'm talking to her. She's like, we have to break this manic thing. I'm somehow like, I think I'm just like yesing her to death. You know?
That's what you were up to for sure.
And then though she put in a prescription.
Yeah.
And for like a 24-hour pharmacy
in Astoria. Because I knew this place. This was this is the only pharmacy that I know is open. And thank God. Astoria, Ditmar, CVS, shout out to them.
Yeah. So Andrea, God bless her heart, in the middle of the night, or like after 10:30 or something late.
Oh, yeah. City biking like a bat out of hell.
City bikes from Long Island City to Astoria. How long does that take? That's a trip.
It's not bad. To be honest, I was relieved because one, there was like a discussion of medication. So at least I had medication.
Yeah.
You know, I was like, is he going to take it? We'll cross that bridge when we get to it. Because is Respiridol a antipsychotic? What is it?
Yeah, Respiridol is an atypical antipsychotic.
Okay.
They say atypical just means one of the relatively newer than
Okay.
the really old ones. They just call them atypical antipsychotics because they don't have as strong as like sedating qualities than the old ones, so that makes them atypical. It's weird.
Okay.
It's just a weird, but anyway.
Yeah.
So yeah, Respiridol is one of those, or Risperidone, and I'd been on it a long time ago before, and I really didn't like it.
Yeah.
But it can be a really rough medication for people. But
There's a lot of side effects, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
But it is good for relatively quickly kind of breaking psychosis.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
So that's why she wanted me to be on that. But then she was worried that because I'd been drinking, the Respiridol was going off of the alcohol was going to cause some anxiety for me. This, I think, was a big misstep on her part.
Yeah.
So she prescribed me a very small amount of Klonopin and anti-anxiety. No, I've never had any anxiety issues, luckily. But
really?
yeah, no, I've never.
Wow.
Yeah.
a dream.
I know.
Anxiety's been eating me alive my entire life. It's so.
I know. I don't have anxiety
It's
issues.
gonna kill me.
I can't have everything.
I know. You're a good soldier who's
Yeah.
suffered enough.
Yeah.
But
So that's what I remember medication wise. That you went and got. For some reason, I remember that.
Yeah. You also, by the way, you spoke to your sister-in-law. You spoke
My
to
stepsister?
You spoke to you spoke to a family member. I think it was your stepsister as
Okay.
well. So I spoke to your doctor, and then maybe your stepsister called you. I'm not sure, but you spoke to her because you were gonna go visit her, and I was like, "Fuck,
Oh, wow.
no."
Yeah.
And so she picked up the phone, and like she could tell that something was going down.
Yeah.
And you were yelling at one point on the phone with her, just like, I'm not sick. You know what I mean? You were like really upset about the conversation with the doctor and that like we were trying to force you to take some sort of medication. So I think I got on the phone with her afterwards and was like, hey, listen, he's not coming to visit you.
Yeah.
And she's like, I know. And I was like, we're handling it, you know. So she's lovely, a lovely woman.
Yeah, Jenny's great.
Yeah. And then I also spoke to Pat, who was the guy's apartment it was,
Yeah.
right? And I was he was like, because I think, yes, Pat was like, oh, try to keep it as quiet as you can. The neighbors are really like, particular. And I was like, all right, well, we'll do our best, but, you know, it's a real shit show in here. But he also was kind of like, he's like, I feel so guilty because I like provided this space for him to be like free range in, like unsupervised, I guess. And I was like, listen, you were doing a nice thing. You didn't know. Like, it's not your fault. And I was like, I'll keep you posted. Because I think I had your phone. I believe so. Yeah. So we're kind of like communicating. I was communicating with your doctor too. Like we were kind of running all these like side conversations to let everyone know. Yeah, it was a lot. But but I was in need of a break to go get the meds. Like it was a good thing for me to get out of there because Alessandro his pulse doesn't go over 100, I guess, because he was a good person to have there because he was so.
It's very calming energy, calming force.
Unaffected.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like you're really riling everyone up, and I get riled very easily. So
Yeah.
I was like starting to get very agitated, and Max is somewhere in the middle. Max was a teacher for a while, so I think he brought really like teacherly energy to it, which was helpful. So I left those two to hold down the fort, and I was like, I'm gonna go get the meds. This is a positive step, but are we gonna get him to take it? We'll cross that bridge when we get to it. And we're starting to like clean up the apartment. Like we're kind of like getting to a more stable place, it seems. Then I come back. I'm like, you guys had one job. You had one job. I text them. I'm like, what's up? Max is like, John escaped. One job.
Well, Alessandro fell asleep. I somehow,
How?
I don't know. I somehow escaped out of the apartment and ended up in this really weird area. There was
under the apartment, under the building.
behind the building, there was bizarrely all of these like makeshift structures. There was all sorts of nooks where people could sort of sit. It was basically the back of a number of apartments, but it had like small little structures that were like almost like sheds without doors
Oh
where
my
people could
God.
put different things.
This is a horror movie.
It was crazy. It was like a weird back alley.
Like a maze that mice are running through.
It was like this maze.
But you're the mouse.
thing.
Yeah.
So I mean, Max was back there looking for me. He
Oh
don't
my
remember it.
God.
It was crazy. Did you go back there or you didn't go back there?
I came into the tail end of getting you, but I was made aware that you had taken a pot of coffee.
Yeah, and a
and
tennis
racket. And then also I just found out more recently that you'd stolen someone's shoes from outside their apartment, Timberland boots.
Yeah.
So like Max is fucking just chasing you around. You're darting everywhere. It's a small, like Max is taller than you, so he's not able to maneuver as quickly as you are. So there's just this man.
I ended up returning those shoes a couple weeks later
Which
when I
is
went to get my
so
stuff, which
funny.
is true.
Yeah,
they
but
just reappeared
yes, that person has no idea the journey that those shoes went on.
there. Yeah.
But you know, you're not I don't fear you when you're manic, you know, but there's like violence in the sense of like you're erratic and you're trying to get away and Max is trying to stop you. So I feel like you're trying to get away from him. Potentially he doesn't know.
Yeah.
So the pot of coffee is a problem because that's a hot
But
liquid.
it was empty.
Oh, it was empty?
Yeah.
Oh, I mean, you could take a little swing with it.
And I had a tennis racket.
And the tennis racket
So
was
who
there.
knows? Yeah.
So Max also has a picture of this, by the way, of you like concealed in darkness
Really?
with a tennis racket and the pot of coffee.
Oh, I got to see that picture.
So I'm like, oh my God. But I'm like, all right, listen, you two, you've got to get him. And I think by the time I got in there, he was like bringing you back in. I don't know how he got you back in, but
Yeah, I don't remember.
You were back
I
in.
think I just went back in.
Yeah, you're like, all right.
Yeah,
I
all right,
guess.
fine. I'll go back in.
And then came the incident. So I had the meds, and
One thing I want to say
yeah,
is this was something that I thought I had to do in order to get off the grid and outside of like the clutches of Klaus Schwab and the World Economic Forum, and something to keep them, keep him and them, that entity, from being able to kill me.
yeah.
Was that I had to pretend that I was dead. I had to convince them that I died. So there's that L7 song, "Pretend That We're Dead."
I don't know it.
Yeah, it's like L7 is this like all-female punk band that has this song called "Pretend We're Dead." And so I was like, oh, this song is like trying to help me.
Yeah.
So I remember I was listening to that song and holding my breath for a really long time, pretending that if I held my breath long enough, that like when whatever sort of scanning capabilities that Klaus Schwab had, they would be like, oh, he's already dead. So we're gonna like,
Right.
he's gonna be off our radar now.
It's like Mission Impossible
Yeah.
when Tom Cruise is like dodging the lasers and stuff.
Yeah. So when you came back with the medication and handed me first, not the Risperdal, but the Klonopin, which was 1 milligram, very low thing of Klonopin. You took off the top, handed me the whole thing, and I just fucking chugged it all.
God.
I just swallowed it all in one swallow.
Like an anaconda, man.
Gulp.
Yeah. Well,
And in my mind, it was not like, oh, I want to take myself out, like I want to kill myself. It was like, oh, this will create a situation where they'll believe that I'm dead, so I will be off the grid.
Oh, smart.
Yeah, real smart.
If all this stuff is true, smart move.
Yeah.
Well, because I remember I had the meds, and you were like, I gave you the bottle, and because you asked if you could look at it, and I was like, oh, he's gonna try to read the label, and then he's gonna feed me some bullshit about how he can't take it. So I was like, sure. Okay, let's do this fucking dance. So I really didn't think a lot of giving you the bottle, and then you swallowed it, and I was like, oh, fuck.
Oh no.
Fuck.
This is crazy.
That was very
heavy.
scary,
This is
for
very
sure.
scary, and I'm sorry about that.
Oh, it's okay. I mean, it wasn't. You weren't in your right mind, but then
I know, but it's so fucked up.
I mean,
Okay.
it was like. Then the concern is because I don't know the dangers of how much. I don't know anything about the amount you've consumed, but essentially, it kind of was a good thing. It was both a terrible thing and a good thing because now you've swallowed a bottle of pills. There's no question that you're like a danger to yourself and others if you've done that. You know what I mean? Like we were talking about with getting people, sent into a hospital. That is a definitive thing where you can be like, he did this. You know.
If you're a danger to yourself or others, that's more likely that you can be committed.
Yeah. I mean, you could, someone could paint that as a suicide attempt. That's not what you're up to in your mind, but like I could use that. But I don't know anything about this medication or how long it metabolizes. So now we're like, there can be no tennis racket, fucking, like this is the countdown. We got to get him help. And then you decided it was time to try to escape again. And I was like, absolutely not.
Oh, that's when we got into our jujitsu match?
Yes. So we started physically fighting because
we were just like, that was crazy.
You were using the door, the hinges of the doors or the doorways to launch yourself full speed at me like a fucking torpedo.
Oh my God.
And I'm, again, big enough that I could at some point. So Max called the EMTs while the fighting began. So it was me and Alessandro engaging in the art of war. And then
Alessandro is like a jujitsu master.
It was very helpful.
Yeah.
Because I started fighting you. And then at one point, Max was like, I called the EMTs and they came so fast, which was amazing. What a stroke of luck this like last part was. He was like, I was standing there and to my right, there was like EMTs like busting in. And to my left, there's Andrea just like fully lying on top of you starfish style to like incapacitate. And then Max like holding your neck to like strangle hold you, but like not enough to hurt you, but to like keep you in place because we were all like, this is it. This is our opportunity / if we fuck this up, it could be very, very bad news.
Yeah.
So the EMTs came and they were like excellent. They got you out. They were talking to you. I can't really remember. This part was such a blur, but you were like copping with the fact that you took the pills, I think. Do you remember any of this stuff?
I don't remember this stuff. I just have vague images remembering the ambulance and stuff like that, but I don't remember too much about that.
Yeah, I don't remember a lot about it too, but I remember being so relieved because I was like, he's going to go to a hospital. And
did they take me out on a stretcher and stuff?
No, they walked you out.
Yeah.
And then we walked out and then I called, well, they were doing their thing. I called Patrick and I called your doctor and obviously everyone was very relieved. And then your doctor was like, let's take him to this. If you can get them to take him to that hospital, this is like a better hospital. So I was talking to the EMTs and all that stuff. But they didn't really tell us like that you were okay in terms of like the meds. Like they didn't tell us that because you told me they didn't pump your stomach. So maybe
they didn't have to pump my stomach.
So maybe the amount of Klonopin you took was like not a big deal. But I didn't know. So they were all kind of like hanging outside the ambulance. And I was like, are you going to fucking like, what is going on? So once they're like, oh, he's fine, I like absolutely flipped out because it was just like I had to tamper everything and keep it to a level during, like there's no time to freak out during these situations. So I think the like accumulation of all of the traumaticness of it just compounded and I was like flipping out and Max and Alessandro were both like, are you okay? And I was like, I gave him the pill. Like I just like was freaking out. And I was like, I just needed to freak out. And then I was like, fine. But I went to Max's apartment afterwards because I'm like, I gotta go home. I can't like just go home after this.
Yeah.
We gotta like decompress because this was like such an event. But also we were like, all right, we gotta call this hospital because you were so smart and tricky when you're manic that I'm like, he might tell them, he might convince them that he's fine, and they might let him out. Yeah. Because have you gotten out before?
Well, I've been sent to, or I've agreed to go to psychiatric ERs where they evaluate you for like a day or two.
Yeah.
And then I've been able to get out of those when I've still been manic.
Yeah. And I was like, not on my watch.
So did the psychiatrist say to bring me to Columbia Presbyterian? Was that the one? Because that's where I ended up.
I believe so.
Yeah.
Or maybe she wanted one, but Columbia Presbyterian was like the second option, and she was like talking to the EMTs. Like it was one of the preferable options for sure.
Because I was in that hospital, but that wasn't like a psychiatric hospital. That was like
wasn't.
I was there for a couple of days while they were waiting for a bed to open up in a psychiatric facility.
Oh, okay, gotcha.
And then I got sent to a place called Gracie Square.
Okay.
But anyway, go ahead.
Sounds fun.
Yeah.
Sounds like it was a real treat.
And it was interesting. The psychiatrist there told me at one point, she goes like, that was dangerous what you did with the Klonopin, for sure. Like it was dangerous. They didn't pump your stomach, or they didn't pump your stomach, but like your blood pressure went up really high or something like that. So I don't know.
So I'm glad we
got it. Of course.
Take care of.
But also that had the mechanism of why I was able to get hospitalized. Who knows what would have happened?
That's what I'm saying. I mean, and then I wasn't calm until because we talked to the nurses at that place, and I remember being like, "Do not believe him," and they were like, "No, we're not letting him out." I'm like, "All right, great," but I'm like, just because I'm like, I gotta make sure. I'm like, we've made it this far.
Yeah.
I gotta make sure he doesn't slip out.
Yeah.
In the 9th inning, because then what do we do? because then you've been hospitalized and you've been I don't know what the I don't know what the process is then. I don't know. So I'm just like, until I know for certain that you're in the system, I am not going to be fully calm. But we got a text. I think Alessandro and Max, at least Alessandro, came to visit you when you were at that facility, or I don't know if maybe the second.
Remember.
Yeah. So they came to visit you, and I was like, good for you. I'm fucking done. My battery is 0. But I was like, I knew you were there, and they had seen you, and you were still like coming down, but certainly like a little, like, I don't know. And like, how do you feel when you're kind of like coming out of it? I'm sure that's a weird state of mind.
Yeah, it's definitely weird. And then when I come down and I guess essentially get my mind back, or I'm back in my right mind.
Yeah.
That's so rough.
I'm sure.
Because I remember the mania and just look at it as though it's this absurd thing. Like, how the fuck did this happen again?
Yeah, that's so
how did
scary.
I lose my shit like this? And then that contributes certainly to the depressions that oftentimes follow.
Well, it's terrible.
Yeah, it's terrible.
Yeah.
You know, yeah.
Can't imagine. Yeah, but like on my end, I was just like, I did my job. You know what I mean?
Sure,
I was
you
like,
really did.
I mean, I was
You did so right by me, and we're such a good friend. I really appreciate it.
No problem, buddy.
You're
no,
amazing.
I mean it, but like also like during this time period, I'm sure there are lots of people that were dealing with this kind of stuff, and you're just kind of like, hey, I gotta step up, because it was also COVID, so it was like a police state, and I was like, if he goes to jail, which you have been before, I'm like, fucking, what if he gets COVID in jail? Like, it was so much more.
It's really scary.
Important to get this fixed,
sorted out. Yeah.
Yeah, because it wasn't just like free. I know in like other episodes, it felt a little less dire. Not that you weren't doing damage to your life, you certainly were, but it wasn't like. And also on top of it, we're in this like world crisis.
Yeah.
So we gotta like.
Yeah.
It's very important that this.
And I feel like we got a little lucky.
For sure. Shout out to whatever mechanism in your brain made you take that Klonopin, because it was.
Because that was what facilitated me being able to get hospitalized.
Yeah. Yeah.
And that's why it's so important in between episodes to really do everything you can to get your shit together, to get your mental health center of life, to get all of those pillars in place, to fortify yourself from this happening again. Because when someone's in the throes of mania, it's somewhat of a crapshoot of how that shit's gonna work out.
I think your cousin is Mike Racine, right?
Yeah.
And I remember I discussed this with Mike Racine at some point, like later down the line, not near this, but he was like, one time I told John that we were going to get noodles, and then I just like absolutely dropped him off at a psych ward, and was like, "You're going in." I was like, "Noodles is an interesting diversion."
No, this is what he said. He said we were going to get Thai food in Queens.
Yes, yes.
And in my mind, I was like, "Why are we driving to Queens for Thai food?" And then I remember thinking, I'm like, Mike loves Italian food. I remember thinking that because he loves all of his Italian stuff.
Yeah.
So I was like, why are we doing that? And then bizarrely, I like just accepted it, and I was like, I'll go.
That's
great.
great.
I don't even get why.
When he told me that, I was like, are you fucking serious? All you had to do was one trip with Italian food. You didn't have to
Thai
physically
food.
fight Thai. You didn't have to fight. Nothing.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, your doctor was also so happy. I mean, your doctor, the first time I spoke to her, was so distraught about you, but also she was like, my patients are committing suicide. And I'm like, oh my God. Like,
Really?
I was trying to kind of like, not like rely on this woman, but like try to get some assurance from her. And she was like, yeah, I don't fucking know. And I was
That's
like,
terrible.
Great.
She's like, you're the mental health professional.
Yeah,
Oh my
she's
God.
like holding on by a thread. And I'm like, yeah, I'm not like upset that you're holding on by a
Yeah.
thread. I get it. But I'm like, all right, well, she's kind of in. But
That's crazy.
she took the time. She took the phone call. She gave me her cell phone, which was really cool. And she took the phone call at like a late hour at night. So like she went above and beyond, and like thank God. But you know, people working in mental health again were just drowning at this point. And you know, I don't think the ramifications of COVID mental health wise and for like the collective psyche of the world and especially America, like what was so fucked up about the United States during this time is that there was also political instability and the death toll compared to how wealthy of a country America is so fucking tragic. Like to me, I'm like, if there was ever a signal to the citizens of this country that the government does not give a fuck about them, it was the amount of people who died.
Sure.
When, you know, people were going to die during that time, but
it didn't have to be as many.
Didn't have to be
and
as
also,
many.
Sadly, another aspect of it is we're a very unhealthy country too.
Yes.
You know, so there's a lot of fucked up conflating factors.
Yeah, and you know, sometimes your physical health doesn't help your mental health. We talked about exercise before. Like it was just complete fucking clusterfuck. And I think it, you know, the economy suffered greatly, and people have the after effect of that has been felt, and I think that kind of helped usher in more extreme right-wing stuff. And
well, sure. I mean, the consolidation of businesses, like all this middle class and small businesses going under, and they couldn't stay open while the big corporations could stay open.
Evil.
All that sort of shit. They really use this pandemic as like a way as a huge power grab and a big transfer of wealth upwards.
Yeah.
All sorts of crazy shit happens.
So bad.
And we're feeling the repercussions of that right now.
I think we'll feel the repercussions of that for a long time.
Yeah.
This made 9/11 look like a fucking
dude. This
walk
is crazy.
in the park.
This is crazy. So the thing is, I feel so appreciative that I had that support system in order to really help me through such a difficult time.
You set it up though. Good for you.
Yeah. So that is something. I mean, that's something worth doing, having like a game plan in place.
Yeah.
Connecting some people with a mental health professional. I mean, it's a little bit weird. It's certainly humbling, maybe a little embarrassing to do, but it can
save your life.
It can save you. And also, if you're on top of your shit in between episodes and keeping episodes from happening, you won't even ever have to use it.
Yeah. Do you feel like, how do you manage the fear? Because like I think that's something that's like really difficult. I imagine I have fear of going insane. It's one of my top fears in my life, and not bipolar. It plays into it, but it's anxiety and, you know, sleep, which is bipolar too. Like I have a mini version of this. You know, I'm very. I question myself a lot sanity wise. There's a lot that plays into it, but I've never been like outwardly in a situation where I had to be hospitalized or all that stuff. That must be like such a difficult fear to manage. Like how do you sort of cope with that, or how do you?
That's a really good question. I think over the years when I would have episodes more frequently, I could say every couple of years or something, there was always something really lingering in the back of my mind where I would just have this fear that it's going to happen again, that I'm going to burn my life to the ground again. I think with the passage of time, that fear lessens considerably.
Good.
And it's the passage of time plus knowing that I have made my mental health central to my life and that I'm doing all of these things in order to proactively stay well.
Yeah.
So that compared with time, I don't have that lingering fear in my mind.
That's great.
I don't, but I did struggle with that for a really long time, and I totally understand how people do.
I mean, there was something I read or listened to. Oh, Robert Sapolsky. Yeah, I was deep in all sorts of YouTube holes during the pandemic too. Robert Sapolsky, I think, is a good guy. I don't know. I think he was on Rogan at one point, so I'm like, all bets are off with any man on the internet. But Dr. Robert Sapolsky is like a professor at Harvard, I believe. But you can watch his lectures on YouTube. So I was getting deep into that, and he did one on schizophrenia, and he was like, when people take their own lives with schizophrenia, it's not usually when they're in an episode, it's when they're lucid, because they're so fucked up and scared and sad about the fact that they probably will go like back in. And that's like a horrible, like when people are so cruel and have so much stigma towards mental illness, and they're like, I'm like, have some fucking compassion. Imagine living with that fear, like, you know, and there's an influencer on TikTok who's schizophrenic, and I think he's doing a great deal in helping people with schizophrenia because he's talking openly about it, and he's, he's just normalizing it and being like, this is what I go through. These are the meds that I'm on. And it's like, if there's a more accepting environment, then that lessens the burden on these people of like feeling othered or feeling isolated, or, it's hard enough on its own. And then dealing with people marginalizing you, like when people see fucked up people, unhoused people, all that stuff, there's such a like demonizing of that person. And I'm like, the tragedy that this person has had to endure is something you couldn't even fathom.
No, absolutely.
And you're just being a bitch about it?
Yeah, and having
you're
no
a terrible
compassion
person
whatsoever. Yeah, I mean, that just comes out of stigma, out of misunderstanding, out of fear, out of all that sort of stuff. But it's like the person that is experiencing something like that, they're scared. They're scared all the time.
Yeah.
And it's like, try to understand where they're coming from. It's really important.
Yeah.
And that's why, I think us being so absurdly public about our shit.
Heroes, some would say.
Heroes, some might say. We say.
To each other.
The only ones who say that.
Yeah.
But I really just think having discussions about it helps destigmatize.
Well, yeah.
I think it's huge.
And also to like the point of that person scared, it's like that will help you. Like when I was dealing with you, it's like you have to come from the point of like, this person is scared. So think about how you feel when you're scared and how you would like to be dealt with. Because if you are reacting to them with fear, it's just going to escalate it. And I'm sure we'll talk about this in another episode. I think we've touched on it, but it's like, and there are times when someone who's mentally ill because they're fearful, or maybe because they grew up in an abusive household, whatever, like every mentally ill person is not morally an angel, whatever. Like that's a weird way to think about it. But so there could be violence, you know what I mean? But like, let's not be violent towards them immediately, because
let's de-escalate, not increase it.
Which is like the police escalate, and like, there's that fucking terrible story with that Michael Jackson impersonator, that young guy. And he was being erratic on the subway, and some fucking psychotic dude just killed him. He just like grabbed him and strangled. Do you remember this story?
I vaguely remember.
It was in New York. It was like a few years ago, and it was just like classic, like shitty white dude being like, "Oh, a black person's being erratic. I have full carte blanche to just violently attack them." Under the premise that I'm like protecting everyone in this train. And it's like, is that where we had to go? Did this guy have to die? And I don't know how, I don't know. It's hard to know. The mental health crisis in New York City and in this country is, again, like very bad for sure. And I'm like, our government doesn't seem to be handling it correctly. Like, I just wish there was. I would love to know what a different world would be like and how much better this could be, because people are always like, oh, we're going to have social workers like hold everyone's hand. And I'm like, no, we need like, there does need to be some sort of enforcement or some sort of policing. But what currently exists is barbaric and corrupt and deeply misguided.
Yeah, I mean, the cops are largely... they're criminals.
Yeah, I know.
I mean, if you watch Joffre and Ashton's podcast,
shout out to Cops Podcast.
Cops the podcast. You're like, what are these cops up to? KWPS.
Yeah. As the producer of that podcast, every week you're like, oh my God.
I've guest co-hosted a couple times. It's crazy.
Yeah.
But I mean, you're right. The government is not up to the task, or they're actively hurting people. So we can't rely on them. I think it's got to be just sort of like an all hands on deck approach to us helping each other out.
Sure.
Doing whatever we can. The healthcare system is so complicated and fucked up and weird.
Yeah.
Some people so many people are slipping through the cracks. So I think we have to just do what we can to help each other out. I don't see some sort of clear, easy answer to it.
No, and they're never really, I don't think there never is the easiest answer, but protect the homies, I guess.
Yeah, we got to create community.
Yeah.
Care about each other.
And just like in general, community currently is a very important thing in our, political environment, get
Sure.
keep the groups tight and do your best, because
Sure.
it's going a bad way. That's, where my anxiety and paranoia, and we'll wrap it up soon too. I, especially in the beginning of Trump's now second presidency, the first few months were, abject horror.
Yeah.
It was bad the first term for sure, but this feels much more escalated and very frightening.
Well, when a president gets that second term,
Yeah.
it's kind of like the gloves are off.
Yeah. And
Yeah.
boy, are they off.
Yeah.
And I'm an incredibly anxious person. And
Not me, no anxiety.
no, unbelievable. I'm happy for you. God bless. But paranoid. And I think paranoia is probably part of bipolar a little bit, or trying to make when I'm making these connections that maybe are not fully flushed out.
Yeah.
So the first few months, I'm like, making bug out bags and ordering supplies and scanning all my documents. But I'm like, I actually don't think at this juncture that's like crazy stuff to be doing. But I also am like, I have to detach myself a little bit, because you got to be able to be like, you've got to be able to keep it together, or the whole ship goes down. But I definitely have been dealing with, like, I have personal anxieties about health and my own thing, but now in addition to that, there's a very new real set of anxiety about what's happening in our world. And that's enough for a neurotypical person to deal with.
Sure. Yeah.
Be thoughtful, people, about what you're consuming and how much energy you're giving it, because it can hurt you in a way that you don't quite realize.
Yeah, it's such a crazy time, and it affects different people different ways.
Yeah.
And some people obviously more directly affected by these policies and what's going on, and families being torn apart and things like that. It's awful.
Yeah.
But we have to maintain optimism.
Yeah. Turn off social media a little bit.
Turn off social media a little bit, except not when it comes to
Fully.
Episodic.
Yeah, sure.
Watch our clips.
Watch our clips, but that's it.
But that's it. That's all you need.
We're the only people you should trust.
We're all you need.
We know Sinead O'Connor.
Yeah.
We've got our finger on the pulse of what's really going on.
Should we start at the beginnings of these saying that we're not mental health professionals?
No, Tom. Who cares?
No.
Who would mistake us for mental health professionals, John?
I'm a mental health professional.
Yes. I think that's redundant. I don't think we need to really make that clear.
Okay. Well, we should at least let people know where they can find us.
Sure. Follow me at Andrea Comedy 69, a mental health professionals Instagram account.
That's perfect.
And at all the things. And John?
You can follow me at JFOD Loves You.
That's more mental health professional.
JFOD Loves You, all the platforms. And you can watch my stand-up special. Just type my name into YouTube and spread the word about Episodic.
Yeah. Our full episodes are up on YouTube for you to watch. The clips are out there too, but if you want to watch the whole thing, that's on John's YouTube. So
yeah.
check it out. Stay sane.
Peace out.